This is Brianna Ireland. I am reading the book Bones, and subscribe if you like. You're not obligated to. I'm on chapter 12. The press conference aired on the 11 o'clock news. Milo stood by woodenly as D.C. Warenberg made love to the cameras during a steely-eyed request for public participation. The public facts were thin, and Selena Bass and 3 unidentified bodies in the bird marsh, no mention of amputated hands. All 4 network affiliates topped off 15 seconds of public interest. Stop with rehashed coverage of the progressive billionaires' attempt to buy the land, followed by stock footage of egrets, herons, and ducks. Milo knew what was going to happen, and he pulled Mo Reed back from the trip to San Diego. The two of them split the phone chores. By 1 a.m., 63 tips had come in, and the next half an hour earned 5 more. At 3 a.m., every call but one, naming Selena Dawkins' main man, had been classified as worthless. Reed's request for surveillance on Travis Huck had been sent to Pacific Patrol. No answer so far, he said. Guess we should start with this guy. Duchess. Pimp in the morning, said Milo, something to wake up for. Joe Odo, Duchess, rejected the job description. Think of me as a human resource manager. Duchess stats put him at 43 as of March. Emaciated, gray-skinned, white-haired, and gap-toothed, he looked old enough to be his own father. Vice said he worked 4 or 5 women along the LAX stroll and had high turnover. Duchess sat comfortably in the interview chair, surprisingly articulate in surprisingly shabby clothes. His record was mundane: 20-year pain to heroin addiction, and though he claimed 7 months of utter sobriety, despite a hot morning, his shirt cuffs were buttoned at the wrist. He'd come in voluntarily, and Milo gave him plenty of space, pushing the table into a corner and keeping the whole thing low-key. Mo Reed and I watched on closed circuit from an adjoining room. The young detective followed every word like a paid attendee at a rich seminar. It was Reed who'd found Duchess after 6 hours of grunt work, questioning local patrol, hookers working the ferry of the airport, and other low-grade pimps loitering near hourly rate motels. It was one of the women who remembered Sherlyn Dawkins and confirmed that the missing woman had worked for that skinny white boy, Joe Odo. You gonna find him on Sentinel? Reed showed her a San Diego mugshot. Yeah, Sherry, the limp, she said. Good for her business. The limp. There's guys be liking it, said the hooker. Maybe I should get myself a defect. Duchess was open about his new business plan. Lately, I've been using Craigslist to set up appointments, Milo said. Being businesslike, I'm sure you keep all your emails and phone numbers. Duchess flashed raged canines and black gaps. Like I said, lately, just a few weeks. How do you fill vacant slots? Hesitation. I supplement the old-fashioned way, Milo said. Sidewalk displays. Duchess fingered an empty tooth socket. I like to think of it as real-time marketing. On top of his drug arrests, he'd been busted 5 times for procuring considered jail time and fines and corporate overhead. Milo said, joys of the business world. Got a degree in business administration, Lieutenant. University of Utah. Graduated 21 years ago and worked for IBM. And that's the truth. Call them to verify. I believe you, Joe Odo. Tell me about Sherlyn. You really think it's her? Can't be sure, but she fits the body we found. Duchess nodded. The leg. I met her last winter, February, I think. Maybe January, no, February. She just got into town, was hanging around, cold and lonely. I took her in 'cause no one else did. Why not? The leg situation. Poor thing had trouble being on her feet for stretches of time. Cut down on her productivity. And I got her all kinds of different shoes, insoles, inserts, gel pads, you name it. Nothing really helped, but she wouldn't give up. Hard worker, nice girl. You liked her? Nice girl, Duchess repeated. Not the sharpest scimitar in the scabbard, but she had personal warmth. And I took her in to be kind, but the leg ended up working out okay. How so? A certain customer or consumer segment was attracted to it. Guys who liked limps, said Milo. Guys who liked vulnerability. Anyone ever take advantage of her vulnerability, Joe Odo? No, sir, said Duchess. That's what I'm here for. Puffing a sunken chest and curling a scrawny fist, the embroiderment of pretentiousness. Watching the screen, Mo Reed shook his head. Milo said, No one ever got rough with her, Joe Odo. Never. You're sure of that? Lieutenant, she only worked for me a month, and it was a smooth month. What did she tell you about herself? Just up from Oceanside, military maneuvers, and military police decided to crack down on fun, made her situation tense. Doesn't seem fair, right? We sent those young boys over to fight for our liberties, and they can't even enjoy a few moments of shore leave. So she came up to L.A. Greener pastures, said Duchess. She talked much about her life in Oceanside. She said that she had a kid and her mother was taking care of it. In Oceanside? She didn't specify. Didn't say if it was a boy or a girl, and I didn't pry. Duchess' runny eyes tightened. Keeping it businesslike, you know? Milo nodded. Give me something to work with, Joe Odo. That's it. Oh, yeah. She said that she married to a Navy man, but he abandoned her early on. Can't tell you if it was any of it is true, but I don't see the point of lying about details like that. Duchess wiggled a loose canine. Lieutenant, if it's you or her you found, I'm feeling wistful. And here I am thinking that she abandoned me. I should have known that she wouldn't. She just up and left. Here one day, gone the next, said Duchess. Last time I saw her, she was happy, and I came back, and she's gone. Her stuff gone? No note, no forwarding. Frown. Truth be told, I was baffled. Why would she abandon you? Because I treated her better than anyone she'd ever known. Still. What? Said Milo. With girls, you can never tell. Could I trouble you for a Coke? Sure. Mo Reed got up. Moments later, he was back in the side room. Duchess was guzzling from a 12-ounce can. Joe Odo, what do you think drew Sherlyn away from you? That's what I kept asking, Lieutenant. Maybe something to do with her kid, her mother, but I didn't have any numbers for her to follow up on. Could be a better gig came along. Duchess' mouth shut tight. That's possible, Joe Odo. Better like what? You tell me. I'm a fair man, and she was happy. Milo watched him drink soda. Duchess put the can down, belched, and I took her in when no one else did. Did you have any idea what she'd want, or who would want to hurt her? I am sure that there's plenty of people who'd want to hurt her. The whole world the whole world being what it is. Can I specify? Unfortunately not. When she worked for me, there were no problems. She have any regulars? Slow head shake. Those take time to cultivate. Truth be told, she worked for me maybe 20 nights. During that time, where she live? With me? Where's that? Various places, said Duchess. I prefer not to be tied down. Motels and such. Milo pressed him for names. Duchess hesitated, ran off a few, and asked for another Coke. And after he drained it, Milo slid a six-pack photo display across the table. Half a dozen shaved-head white men arranged in 2 rows. Travis Huck in the bottom right-hand position. One of these guys did it, said Duchess. Recognize any of them? Duchess studied the images one by one, spending the time, grassy-eyed, 10 seconds on each, shaking his head, sorry. Do you recall any other cue balls on Sharon's list, or customer list? Cue balls, Duchess was amused. Nope, sorry again. Joe Odo, said Milo, you liked her. You were the one that took her in. No, somebody's done her up really badly, and I know. Truth be told, Sharon's professional activity wasn't always after dark, and I had other employees operating simultaneously. You never saw her, Johns? Not always, said Duchess. There was a problem. I'd get beeped. He pushed out his thorax again, and there was none. His left leg began bouncing, stopped. Milo said, Joe Odo, something's at the back of your mind right now. Maybe something to do with a bald guy. Duchess's eyes sparkled with alarm. You're a psychic friend. I know when someone's troubled. Why would I be troubled? Because you care about Sharon. Now, she wouldn't just leave you, meaning someone snatched her and maybe that same person left her lying around like trash. Duchess Spider's fingers squeezed the empty can, tried to crush it, ended up inflicting a minor dent. He placed it to the side and worked the tooth socket some more. Joe Odo, there was a guy, but not with Sharon, before Sharon. Another girl, not. I got beeped because he got freaky, like you said, cue ball. She's all breathing hard and telling me to look out for a skinhead. Time I got to the room, he was gone. And this girl get hurt? Minor bruise. She was a big girl, could take care of herself. What was the guy's freak? Joe Odo. Or what was the guy's freak? Joe Odo. Wanted to tie her up, and we get that all the time, say no. When she said no, this one pulled a knife, and not normal knife. Looked like a medical thing. That's what she called it. Scalpel. He tried to shake her up by showing how it could slice paper and miming an upward thrust. She got bruised but not cut, said Milo. Thank God, said Duchess. She got what weird feeling, went to run out of the room, and he went after her, made a reach for her, hit her with the hand. Thank God times 10, not the knife. Caught her here, rubbing his temple. Got her with his knuckles, and you could see the marks. The next day, she was all swollen, big dark bruise. Even on her skin, you could see it. Dark girl, said Milo. Big, beautiful sister. Name? We called her Big Laura. DMV called her. Don't know, said Duchess. Big Laura was all we needed. Tall and big, 2 tons of fun. Where can I find her? Long pause. Don't know, Lieutenant. Another fly-by-night, Joe Odo. Duchess pressed his palms together piously. These people have unstable lives. Milo questioned him through a third Coke and 2 Hershey bars, inquired about white prostitutes of advanced age, and Duchess said, Not on my payroll. I'm all about soul. Can I go? Sure, thanks. Stay in touch if you learn anything. Believe it, Lieutenant, this kind of thing isn't good for business. Mo Reed and I entered the vacated interview room. Big girl named Laura, said Milo. Reed said, Fitzjane number 2. Interesting that 2 victims were in Duchess's stable. You smell something on him? Reed thought. Hard to say. He didn't have to come in, let alone tell us anything, and unless you think he's cagey enough to be playing us. I said, maybe someone smelled his weakness, figured out whose girls could be exploited. Bet a dog, said Milo. Makes sense. My guess is that Duchess told us what he knows. You did good finding him. Moses, time to get back to this stroll and dig some more. I'll take on finding Sherlin next of kin. In the perfect world, one of us will learn something that turned into a victim, and at least we can get a check scrape from her mom or her kid, match it to the bones. Not that I'm expecting Jane one to be anyone other than her. What about Big Laura? I'll see what the Monicure pulls up. In terms of Jane 3, she's probably been dead the longest, and memories on the street are short. But maybe an older white woman will stand out in someone's mind. If she's from the area, we could have a bad guy concentrating geographically for a while, said Reed. Then he wants a new level of thrill and shifts from prose to Selena. Her apartment's not that far from the airport, or the marsh, for that matter. I said, psychologically, Selena's a big leap from the others, and there could be transitional victims, such as, said Milo, non-prostitutes perceived as lower class, working his way up the social ladder. Reed said, the dog didn't find anything else in the marsh, but the canine search was limited to the east bank. Cheerful thought, said Milo. With a normal dump, we could get warrants, no problem. Bring in the backhoe. Instead, we're stuck with hollowed ground. I said, maybe the killer sees it that way too. As Milo retracted a cigarillo from his pocket, Reed's pale eyebrows rose. Don't worry, kiddo. I'll keep your air clean. In terms of going through the hassle of getting permission to dig up other areas of the marsh, let's clear up the bodies we already have first. Time to hit the streets. We headed for the door. Mo Reed said, too bad Duchess didn't recognize Huck. Idiot claims that he never sees the John unless there's a problem, and I believe him, said Milo. He wasn't much use to Big Laura, but when she did get into trouble with the skinhead, some business model. Bald man with a scalpel, said Reed. You'd need more than that to cut off a hand, right, doctor? I said, wrong kind of a doctor, but yes, a limb saw would work fine. Any kind of saw sharp enough, said Milo. Goddamn Chinese cleaver would do it if he's strong and coordinated. Reed said, maybe we're talking about someone with medical training. 20 years ago, said Milo, I'd be looking that way. Nowadays, the internet, anyone could get anything, anytime. Freedom, said Reed. Nothing else worth living for, kiddo, but it's a tricky concept. Unwrapping the cigar, he jammed it into the side of his mouth. Gonna light up, kid. Fair warning. We walked Reed outside, across the street to the staff lot, and his drive was a skinny, black Camaro. Milo said, that's no clunker. Pardon? What your brother said. He thinks he knows everything, said Reed. He got in, revved loud, drove off, tires squealing. Camaro. Sorry, not Camarillo. It's a Camaro.